racing ball, bounces 15 metres, rolling through for a goal. He's the best finisher in the game.
McCluggage puts the icing on the cake, and the Brisbane Lions sit second.
From the pocket, Loney, fiendishly difficult position, but he's kicked it.
Hello, I'm Damien Barrett and welcome to Access All Areas, brought to you by Virgin Australia. Another strong performance from the Lions and the Hawks, and as I welcome Jimmy Bartel and Matthew Lloyd, the big question is, what's wrong with the Cats?
Well, I saw the term being thrown around a lot today and even yesterday. The Cats got Clarko'd, and I saw that yesterday. The great defensive systems that we've been seeing for so many years under Alistair Clarkson, but they'd be really impressed as well, Lloydie, with O'Brien and Mitchell Lewis clunking everything up forward.
Yeah, just on the Cats, Damo, even though they're on top of the ladder, I think internally they'd be looking at everything across the board. They've got a lot of individuals out of form. They've lost 3 of their last 5 since the bye. Look at some of these names. Tim Kelly isn't going as well. Joel Selwood, Hawk. This is a forward line. Rounds 1 to 12, they averaged 99 points. They've now dropped to 70, and no player has kicked over 2 goals in the last month of footy.
Yeah, I think Joel Selwood nailed it when he said they're playing boring footy. And that means they're not taking the game on. A lot of this play is slow, it's stagnant, it's bombing it into the forward line. They only had 44 inside 50s yesterday, which is not enough for those forwards you're talking about. But the tackles inside forward 50 for Hawthorn, 12 to 5. It's that manic pressure and keeping the ball in your half. And like I was saying, look at how well Hawthorn is set up behind the ball. It's so hard to get through that. And I think it's led by some lesser lights who always play good footy, like Liam Shields.
You both played for teams which dominated home and away seasons, and this patch, this late July patch, or even late June into late July patch, can sometimes pose as a concern for some clubs. You look at the ladder, after round 18, they're 1 game and a lot of percentage clear of second spot. I reckon they take that every single year of their existence and just got to weather these moments.
Yeah, spot on. As you mentioned, the percentage of 135 and 1 game clear, you don't get to that spot in this part of the year without playing some great footy. I think they are going through a flat patch. It seems a bit like dead rubber games. I'm not saying they are, but there's a bit of that mindset going on at the moment. They're just protecting the game a little bit too much.
I've seen some Adelaide teams, though, Damo, this time of year and saying they are flying. And so that's where I'm saying internally they can't just say we're a game clear on top because they're not playing that well. And I think Reece Stanley's another one that's just been dominated. So they may have to look at other avenues of who can ruck and support him in that area.
The rebuilding of Chad Wingard by Alistair Clarkson and the Hawks medical team is starting to show dividend. He was really good yesterday in the relatively new role that he's playing.
Yeah, up the ground a fair bit. Look, he's been parked forward, obviously, because he came in underdone, and that's where you can only play him. But as the season's rolled on, they've added minutes to him up the ground. He adds a point of difference around the ball, Lloydie. They've got some good, tough inside players. Warple, Shields, the guy I mentioned. He's just that point of difference when you see these passages of play.
It's the most dynamic I've seen a Hawthorn midfield for the year. So that's what I liked about them yesterday is we talk about how slow Geelong were with their ball movement. It's the best I've seen Hawthorn play in a long time.
Yeah, they can still cause some damage for the finals machinations and even sneak in themselves. Brett Ratton took over the St Kilda coaching reins after the Alan Richardson dismissal during the week and got the Saints back into the winners list. It was a vibrant performance at Marvel Stadium against the Bulldogs.
Yeah, this has almost become the trademark with the caretaker coach. You take the shackles off and players seem to play with some freedom. They're willing to take the game on. I think they do less of structures and more about ball movement. And look at this. This is just all instinct-based footy.
I've heard nothing but good things about Brett Ratton. From the moment he got there, he's been under Alistair Clarkson for under 3 premierships. So he brings so much wealth of knowledge, and the players have just loved him. And their goal kicking's been appalling for a number of years. It's amazing where you move the ball well, you get the ball deeper and longer into the corridor, and it makes for easier shots. And that's what happened yesterday. And I just think we're going to see guys like Loney who dominated, Hunter Clark best on ground. We're going to see a huge growth and an upside by making that move that they did last week.
They do really love what he's done, Brett Ratton there, Lordo, even before installing him as the caretaker coach. And now with 5 games remaining in this status that he's now got, he, to me, in my eyes, is the favourite now for this job. And there's going to be other candidates, but they brought him in to bolster Alan Richardson. They've now got him to be that senior coach, and look, he's as well placed as any of the assistants out there. The Demons played West Coast, and it was their set shot kicking for goal which really let them down. They could have won this game had they rectified rectified these issues?
Oh, well, wasted opportunities, but this is probably the story of the year, Lloydie. It's been a wasted year, really, and they should look at this year. Look, I know they'll go away and reflect, and players will have better pre-seasons, but you don't want to waste a year of Max Gawn at his absolute peak. You don't want to waste a year of Clayton Oliver. I know he's still young. You don't want to waste these players when they're at the absolute pinnacle of their performance.
I looked at their top 10 in the best and fairest yesterday, and only Max Gawn gets a tick. So they're top 10 from last year. So the fall from grace has been huge. They're slow, and their skill level is just not up to scratch.
And so they've gone from top 4 to, after round 18, second last on the ladder. Max Gawn last week found himself the unfortunate recipient of an umpiring adjudication, which he didn't like, and he didn't like another one yesterday. We'll just take a look at what happened to him in this unusual holding the ball decision.
Had to be up there with the worst decision of the year, this one.
On the ball, dragged it in.
So she said, Eleni Gluftus has said that he dragged it in. But I hope the AFL comes out and says they got this decision wrong also. Because look at the scoreboard. 5 points in it, 13 minutes to go. He goes back and kicks a goal there, Jack Darling. It was critical at that point in the game where just a lacked feel for the game at that point. I think all the Eagles players appealed for it, fell into it, but that should not have been a free kick.
Yeah, I tend to agree. Yeah. A couple of free kicks were the topic of the weekend's action. This one on the Brisbane Lions win against North Melbourne. Look, Hodge seems to barrel into Turner here, and the umpire motioned to pay the free kick against Hodge, or at least gave that appearance, and then just seemed to ignore his own feelings on it.
This is the power of Luke Hodge. This is why you get him into your club. He can even change free kicks like that. He's great leadership. Look, a couple of free kick decisions in this game have overshadowed what was an absolute cracking game between North and the Lions. And look, the Lions kept coming. Look, that last
one you referred to, Jimmy, was the one that the AFL's now admitted rightly that they got wrong.
And I think that's the best thing the AFL's done, is actually admit that they got one wrong. Everyone makes mistakes, umpires, players, coaches, you name it. But I think you win supporters more if you admit your mistakes.
Can they win it, Jim? Can they win it, or just they need to at least taste a few finals before you can say they can win a premiership?
Well, I think I've spoken about this here, is the best thing for them is they're playing Richmond round 23. So they actually get a taste of playing in front of 80,000, buy a round, reassess, and then run into the finals. Top 4, they'll get a home final, hopefully at some stage. Why can't they win it? You would have said the same thing about the Dogs as well. So I think they can. But obviously there's a few teams that are probably closer favourites than they are.
You talk about people making mistakes. Ben Cunnington, one of the elite midfielders in the competition, made a very big one, a very 50-metre big one.
What a kick. He absolutely flushed it.
Went the wrong way.
Yeah, that'd be a difficult kick if you were going the right way, but he's absolutely nailed it. And the game's only just started. I think Sean Higgins, Lloyd and a couple of the other boys were looking for a handball received.
They've been brave, the Roos, but season now officially over.
Yeah, they have been brave, The Giants got their season back on track, an 8-2 first quarter. They just toyed with Collingwood in that period. They were able to exploit the deficiency in the back line of the Collingwood. Unfortunately for the individual, it was Flynn Appleby, but the machinations and the workings of the Collingwood system broke down before the ball got to his part of the ground.
Leon Cameron cops it a bit when they lose, and I think it was justified last week against Richmond because he allowed that spare for Richmond to get back behind the ball. But what they did well is they kept their 6 forwards deep. They loaded up Finlayson, Himmelberg, and obviously Jeremy Cameron, and it was all too much. So their midfield was too good, and allowing where you're not having to go up against 2v1 was really big for the Giants.
Yeah, and also adding the extra ruckman, but starting him on the ground as well. So that's another tool. So the knock-on effect, eventually one of them, as we're seeing, Crano only in his first couple of games, just a height mismatch when you come in there, marking contest. You're right, it was a brave decision, but it come off the back of winning the ball and playing it in your half.
Went into the game with 3 losses in a row, Lordo. Can you see enough to think they could still feature in the last 4?
Last 4 possibly, but can't trust them at this stage to say they can win the premiership this year. Yeah.
Jeremy Howe did as Jeremy Howe does, took a big mark. Jeremy Cameron didn't seem too happy with the hanger he took on him and might have thought about crunching him on the way down.
He hung on to him here. The Jeremy Howe Award, again won by Jeremy Howe. I think every year you give him Mark of the Year and you've got to win it off him. I think that should be the new rules. But he's just exciting to watch. But I think Jeremy Cameron will be pretty pumped with 6 goals himself.
He plays it tough, Jeremy, and it's what we love about him.
Lotto, you like the Tigers and you like how they've gone about it with the injuries they've had.
Oh, yeah. And I think the great thing about it is when they've lost badly, but they were able to keep ticking over their wins and doing it well. And I thought, obviously, Tom Lynch, I was critical of Tom Lynch throughout the year, Damo, but what Tom's done is he's pretty much had a pre-season, in-season, so it's probably a little bit too harsh on Tom, knowing what he's gone through with his knee injury. But apart from Nan Curvis, I think they've just got about everything. Nankervis will come in for possibly Soldo.
Quite possibly as early as this week.
This week, and then that's pretty much their full team with guys like Caddy and Butler in the seconds.
Yeah, obviously forward of the ball, there's a certain amount of plays in this game where it went Lynch, Riewoldt, Martin, and I think that would scare a lot of sides as your three forwards with the smalls around those three when Martin goes and rests in the square. But I think their back six is going unnoticed. Broad, Asprey, Grimes had 12 intercept marks in this game, and they're just so well set up. So I'm with you, Lloydie. I don't see a weakness in the side, even though they're missing Rance as well. They're just strong across the field.
And I was talking to an opposition player who said that their surging and their running power is back to that of 2 years ago.
Really?
Yeah. So it's quite scary.
As it was for the Bombers in the second half against Adelaide on Friday night, Zach Merritt had, I reckon, one of the great games of his already illustrious career in that second half. He led the way for that team, as did that man on screen there, Jake Stringer, with some powerful bodywork around the ball. Parrish was good, and they got their season back on track, Jimmy, with 6 wins now out of their past 7.
Yeah, the thing that impresses me the most recently of Essendon, 4 games in a row that they've won, they've been behind at three-quarter time. So to me, it says that they're absolutely believing 100% in whatever they're planned during the week to go after it. Now, what they did on the weekend is that you change the personnel around, but you don't change the game plan. So Hooker and Heppel went forward because, Hooker try and get something going forward because Lynch was battling with Jenkins. Hartley went back onto him, shut him down. But they just kept going. They just kept sending numbers through the midfield and taking the game on.
And a lot of players out too. So obviously they're Ruckman in Bell Chambers, Hurley, Joe Danaher, Devon Smith, Fantasia. So that was a brave super win.
And just hope that Heppel got through. He was sore, and I just hope he hasn't re-damaged that foot that's been a problem for him. There's been a lot of love for the Virgin Australia footy family stories that we've shown you throughout season 2019, and you can find the full version of those videos at afl.com.au/footyfamily. And don't forget to head there and tell us how you celebrate with your footy family for your chance to win a $2,000 travel voucher with thanks to Virgin Australia. We'll head west now, and the Dockers got back on the winners list by 1 point over the Swans. It was a pivotal final clearance, and the Sydney setup in particular is what we're interested in here, Lauder.
Yeah, it was a scrappy game, but late in the game, the Swans need to go on and win this game. They need a score, and John Longmire's been complaining about not having access to runners, but here's Aliir. There's no need for Aliir to be back there because they need the score to win. They need to score a goal, a behind, just trying to get back to win this game. But Aliir was sitting back and then in the end was caught in no man's land. So he was nowhere. He needed to either be up or across to stop where the ball was going to go. And in the end, Brayshaw surges the ball forward. They go on and win the game, the Fremantle Dockers.
Yep, you're still not getting runners back for me, coaches. There's 10 coaches there. You've got the players for so many hours during the week. You probably do about 8 hours of meetings. Yep. That's what you spend your time doing. Final 2 minutes, you drill that, you teach it. You can't have players just turning around looking at the bench going, what do I do? It's part of your education of playing the game.
They are going to get their way. They're going to get some access back next year by way of the way I read it. 6 out of 13 of the players taken in the mid-season draft, Jimmy, have now gone on to play a very quick game of AFL footy. It's a good story.
It is a great story. And I think when it first came in, there was a real concern that clubs were just going to stockpile players, maybe take a pick or a later pick or something coming up. But DeLuca, Dunkley, Gardner, Snelling, Sutcliffe, Noble, sorry if I've missed anyone, but they've all come in and actually played pretty well. And DeLuca was the most recent here and provided Carlton with something a little bit different in the midfield.
You looked all right too.
Yeah, it's a big body player, and well done to David Teague. Just another game that possibly they could have dropped, but they found a way to win. 4 of 6
now. God, he's putting himself into the conversation as well. Time now for the Access Big Ask. Jimmy, this one's to you. 3 caretaker coaches, 3 first up wins. What's the main reason?
Relax, the game plan, the structures, and let players play and think their way through it.
Lloydie, if you were coaching Collingwood, what would you do with Mason Cox?
I'd keep playing him, but tell him that you're getting to the contest far too early and you need to do more work before you get there, getting nudged under the ball far too often.
This one's to both. Are tackle numbers an issue in our game, as purported by Stephen Hawking?
No for me either.
Lloydie, what are the Bulldogs missing to become a top 8 side?
It's between the years. They've lost now to the Suns, the Saints and the Blues, so you've got to be better than that to make the finals. Damo, one for you. Should the AFL provide clarity on contentious umpiring decisions more often?
Just the howlers. It'd be a lost cause to do it every single decision, as in what's your call. But I like what they did Sunday morning, straight away after that howler in the Brisbane Lions North game. Jimmy, the Gabba, is it a fortress again?
Oh yeah, the Gabbatoire is back.
And to both, 5 rounds left in the home and away season. Who takes 8th place?
I think Adelaide. Hang on.
Yep, the Crowbars for me.
All right. Now, back to Friday night, Connor McKenna. He was the one Essendon player who was giving run throughout the game. This happened later in the game, but it was actually early as well. But what did he do?
Oh, it's a solo. So it's the game that Jimmy and I both represented Australia in, international rules, and that just throws players out. They're not prepared for that. And we look at the background. There's Crows supporters there, absolutely laughing at what they just saw when they're about to lose a game of footy. It's great to see. I hope he's in the All-Australian mix this year.
And Lloyd, the next one, a former, I guess, pupil of yours there at Hailbury. You taught him everything. Even if your teammate's getting away, you tell him, get out. It's my space. I'm the key forward. It's my domain. And you punch your teammate straight in the head. Rischitelli goes, I don't need this.
I never taught him that.
I don't need this.
Poor old Richard. Lordo, Jimmy, thank you, and thank you for joining us on Access All Areas, brought to you by Virgin Australia. Have a good week, and we'll see you next Monday. Goodbye.